If you love to see how I achieve this beautiful hairstyle on my thick 4C hair, then stay tuned till the end. Hi friend, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time here, grab a seat and feel at home. You are very much welcome. So I started this hairstyle on washed hair as per usual. I do not blow dry my hair this time. I just stretched my hair using the braiding method, and I parted my hair down the middle. I find that it makes it easier to walk that way. Then I cut out another portion to do like knotless braids. This is just to avoid tension on the back part of your head, and this part is, you just basically have to wing it. You don't have to put much effort into it because you're going to cover it up, so there really is no need. So I opted for knotless braids because it's going to be like less tension on the nape of my hair, unlike traditional box braids, and which I tend to find them quite painful. That is why I choose knotless braids, and I just have four knotless braids. You can do two or one, but I feel like four is like the perfect number because it's going to add to the volume of the end product overall. So you can as well do that. So I ended with four braids at the back. So I am going to make sure the other half of my head is tucked away nicely so it doesn't get in the way of the section I'll be working on. And I start by parting my head down the middle. Note that I have a big mirror in front of me, and I also have a small mirror which helps me to see the lines, to make them as neat as I can get them, and also to see the back part of my head. So if you want to attempt this time, make sure you have at least two mirrors, one in front of you and one that is mobile. You're going to see that in a second. So yeah, I make sure it is clean, and when it is as clean as I can get it, I detangle that part very well and I get straight to braiding. I divide the first section into three and I start braiding immediately. I braid down a couple of times, then I start to add in my extensions. So to avoid your braids or your cornrow being too bulky, you want to start with the tiniest piece of hair, as you can see. Also, throughout, this is the exact quantity I'm going to use throughout the braid as I braid this particular hair. I don't know if that makes sense. This section, as I braid this section. So I'm not going to increase the size because I don't want the braid to be big. Increasing the size of the extension is going to make your braid turn out bigger, but I want to maintain a particular size, so I am going to maintain a particular size of extension. And you also want to note that the reason I add extension is to make the hairstyle look neater and to also last longer, because you can braid your hair without extensions as well. I tried it before, but I did not like the results. That is why I opted for extensions. I find that it makes the hair look neater, it dims flyaway hair, and it makes your cornrows last longer. So you want to make sure you braid as close to the scalp as possible, and you feed in your extension. As you can see, I am using the feeding method. I feel like it gives your cornrow a more polished and neater look. but you don't go in with the extension right away like you saw me do. You want to braid 2 to 3 times first before you add in your extension. Really, I just add them as I feel the need to, not like at every point I add in extension, because it is more of my hair and less of the extension. Like I said, I don't want the cornrow being too bulky. I want to maintain a particular size, so I'm going to continue with a particular size of extensions, and I don't add them at every step. I add them only when I feel like I need to. So don't go adding too much extension, because it's going to make your braid very bulky. And as you know, your hair is usually thicker in the middle and the back, unlike the front, so you want to consider that when adding your extensions. So when you reach the back, you don't want to add too much extension, because it is going to add to the size of your hair, unless that's the look you're going for. But if you want to maintain the same size, I feel like you should add in the tiniest bit of extension. So now when I get to like almost the end of the braid, I use longer piece of extensions. What I forgot to show you guys, there are two length of extension. One is the very short pieces, the ones I add in the front, and the ones I add in the back. This is just to add to the length of the hair. Really, I add it only at the back because I want to add to the length of the hair. So when I get to the back part, I make sure it is secure. It is well secured, not too tight, because most times when you do your hair, you usually find that at the end of the day you have this braiding, these bumps. So you want to make sure it is not very tight. So I braid and I add extensions, bigger pieces than I added before. So when you braid and you reach to at this point, you want to make sure the extensions are a little bit big, because you want to make sure you cover your own hair, since your hair is not the same texture as the extension. I'm speaking for those who have 4C hair. If your hair is completely relaxed, I feel like you can get away with a little bit of extension, because it mimics the texture of the extension. If not, if your hair is 4C, I feel like you need more extension to make sure your hair is tucked in properly inside the the braid, and also to avoid your hair bulging out of the braid. So I hope my explanation was quite helpful, and I add in pieces of hair as I braid down to achieve the length that I want. So I hope my explanation has helped you guys. If you are not a visual learner, I hope my explanation has helped you. So I braid all the way to the end, and this is the next braid. Like I said, you want to braid a couple of times before you start adding in the extension, to avoid a lot of tension on your edges. So this is the first piece, and as you see me taking the extensions, I already laid them out on a piece of stick. I always do that when I do my hair. I lay my extensions down. That it's going to help me. I don't have a braiding rack yet, so I lay them on a stick and I just pick them up and I braid them. I braid my hair. I find that very easy, as I just reach for it and I grab and I braid my hair. Also, when braiding your hair, you always want to make sure you stop and you check. Like this second braid, I made a mistake and I parted the hair. It was too big. I only realized after I had braided the hair, and I wanted to check. When I checked, I saw that this particular corner was bigger than the other one, and I had to undo it. and I did it again, and this time I was happy with the result, as you can see. So when braiding your hair, you always want to make sure you stop and you check for errors, because a lot of times I have braided my hair and I have to go back and undo it because it is not in sync with the others, or I just don't like the way it turned out. So you don't have to wait to braid all the way to the end before you stop to check. Stop and check your work so that it will save you time from doing the same thing more than once, if you get what I mean. Guys, the arm work, when it comes to braiding your hair yourself, I have to stop and catch my breath and rest my arms, because child, the arm work isn't for the weak, but the end result is so rewarding. So yeah guys, this is basically it for the video. I do this till I get to the very last braid. I take I rest my arms a couple of times, and yeah guys, basically this is it. I hope you found this video or this tutorial helpful. I feel like it is very beginner friendly. I feel like it is very beginner friendly. Beginners can totally achieve this style. It is not as difficult as it looks. You just have to put one finger after the other, and before you know it, you'll be braiding your hair yourself. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you like the hairstyle? Do you think I killed it? Because I know I definitely killed it. So if you've watched up to this point, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. It is not easy in these streets of YouTube. My algorithm is so whacked, to be honest. I just show up here just because this whole journey of YouTube has been so discouraging. I try to show up when I can, and to be honest, sometimes it's like difficult to even put in the effort too, because at the end of the day, it's really hard, man, putting in all this work and you don't even see the views or the engagement. But it is what it is. So this is the finished look, guys. No, I totally ate this look down, because guys, I have no business looking this cute. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Mwah.